welcome to our brand new show, Firstpost Spotlight, where we bring you the stories that matter to you from all across the world. From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, we shed light on issues that shape our world. I'm Alison LaGrange, live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin with the top headlines. Arab leaders meet in Saudi Arabia to chalk out a plan for Gaza to counter US President Donald Trump's proposal to take over the territory and expel Palestinians. After Australia raises alarm bells over China's military drills, Beijing defends them as safe and legal. This as Australia spotted Chinese warships off its east coast yesterday. France to deploy police in schools for search of weapons in bags. The move follows frequent stabbing attacks in the country. And Brazil's top court orders Elon Musk's ex to pay over $1.4 million fine for non-compliance with a judicial order. This after the platform failed to take down an account spreading misinformation last year. Hello and welcome. We begin with the latest developments from the Russia-Ukraine war and the Trump administration's unconventional efforts to bring an end to it. The tensions, which erupted from Trump's unprecedented peace overture to Russia, are now turning into a geopolitical fault line between the US and Ukraine. In the latest, the US president's key White House lieutenants have told Ukraine's President Zelensky to stop bad-mouthing Donald Trump. Instead, Zelensky has been asked to sign a deal to hand over half of Ukraine's rare mineral wealth to the US. The US has even called Ukraine's potential decline of such mineral handover deal unacceptable. Now, in an interview, the US National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, said insults to President Donald Trump from Kiev were unacceptable. Waltz said that Trump is very frustrated right now with Vladimir Zelensky because the Ukrainian leader has not come to the negotiating table to end the Ukraine war. Donald Trump-led America is not simply instructing Ukraine to hand over its mineral wealth. It's also reminding Kiev of how much the US has already contributed to boost its war efforts against Russia. In an interview, the US Vice President J.D. Vance said that Zelensky's country would not exist if it was not for the generosity of the United States. Vance said that bad-mouthing Trump in public will not change his mind about how to approach the peace talks with Russia. These responses come days after Donald Trump called Ukraine's President Zelensky a dictator who refused to hold elections. Trump has seemed to blame Ukraine for the war. For his part, Zelensky said that Trump was living in a disinformation bubble and that he wished Trump's team was more truthful. Zelensky's scathing counter to Trump's dictator jibe raised many eyebrows, both inside and outside the US president's inner circle. Now, Washington's rapid dumping of Zelensky as an ally has also been underlined by a key diplomatic snub in Kiev. On the 20th of February, a news conference was scheduled to follow talks between President Zelensky and Trump's Ukraine envoy Keith Kellogg, which was unceremoniously cancelled. Instead of a joint statement, Zelensky later gave a lone comment and suggested the US must work even-handedly to balance Ukraine's economic as well as security interests.
Зустріч, яка відновлює надію, нам потрібні сильні угоди з Америкою, угоди, які справді спрацюють. Я доручив працювати швидко і дуже виважено. Економіка і безпека завжди мають йти поруч, і деталі угод мають значення. Чим краще прописані деталі, тим більше результат.
Before Zelensky called upon the US to better draft the details of what appears to be the mineral handover agreement, the United Kingdom had described the US's role as critical for lasting peace in Ukraine. Earlier this week, the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that US Secretary guarantees are only way to deter Russia from launching an offensive on Ukraine again.
Europe must play its role. And I'm prepared to consider committing British forces on the ground alongside others if there is a lasting peace agreement. But there must be a US backstop, because a US security guarantee is the only way to effectively deter Russia from attacking Ukraine again.
As European nations urge US security guarantees for Ukraine, the Trump administration is now also threatening to derail what so far was a conventional Western show of unity against Russia. In the latest, reports said that the US is opposed to calling Moscow the aggressor. In a G7 statement to be given on the third anniversary of the Russia-Ukraine war, similar phrases to condemn Russia have been used by G7 leaders since 2022, when the war first began. Now, with the third anniversary of the Russia-Ukraine war approaching, the Ukraine-US geopolitical fallout is sending shockwaves across Europe, from mineral deal demands to questions over the US security guarantees. Washington's fresh moves are raising new insecurities in the region. As the US-led West faces its moment of strain under Donald Trump, across the Sea of Japan, the alliance between North Korea and Russia continues to grow strength to strength. In the latest, reports claim that hundreds of Russian soldiers are being covertly sent to North Korea. The members of Russian military are reaching North Korean shores, supposedly for medical rehabilitation and to rest. But many suspect that Russia could be sending its military to North Korea under the cover of medical help, and that the goal is not just rest and recuperation of Russian forces, but also ensuring the battle readiness of Kim Jong-un's North Korean forces. Reports say that Moscow's combat-experienced soldiers are leaving for North Korea to disseminate lessons from the war among Pyongyang's forces. This, in turn, could be a part of Russia's larger interests in the wake of Western military's strategic dominance in the region. But official accounts of these Russian troop moves inside North Korea remain just about rest and recuperation. Now, reports citing Russian soldiers say that Kim Jong-un has opened the doors of North Korean health centers for Moscow's troops to recover from the long-term physical and mental effects of the war. After fighting a devastating war like the one going on in Ukraine, soldiers face several long-term health hazards. They include chronic pain, post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, characterized by violent flashbacks and emotional numbness, anxiety and depression risks, social isolation, and even cognitive impairment. To prevent long-term hazards of such kind, soldiers, after they are done fighting in the war zones, are sent to specialized centers for rest and recuperation. Moscow, too, has been sending its war-weary soldiers to such centers in Russia since it began its offensive against Ukraine. But reports say that for many Russian soldiers, especially the ones from the country's far east, the site for post-war recuperation is not inside Russia, but across the border in a North Korean city, the city of Wonsan. Now, earlier this month, in an interview, the Russian ambassador to Pyongyang said that hundreds of Russian soldiers who fought in Ukraine are undergoing rehabilitation in North Korean sanatorium and medical facilities. In what can be seen as another sign of strength of Pyongyang-Moscow alliance, the Russian ambassador said that North Korea was treating his country's soldiers for free. With Western alliances under strain and Moscow-Pyongyang relationship gaining new momentum, the presence of Russian troops in North Korea shows how the balance of power is shifting much faster than previously thought. And our next story is about a space-related controversy. Billionaire Elon Musk, who is also US President Donald Trump's closest ally, has ignited a heated debate. Earlier this week, both Trump and Musk gave an interview to Fox News. During their conversation, Musk blamed former US President Joe Biden for failing to bring back the stranded astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore. Musk said, and I quote, "They were left up there for political reasons," end quote. Now, both Williams and Wilmore were sent to space on a Boeing Starliner spacecraft in June last year. The Boeing spacecraft then faced issues with its thrusters and was unable to bring back the two astronauts. Since June of 2024, the two astronauts have been stuck at the International Space Station. Several attempts were scheduled to bring them back, but they did not materialize. And now Musk has said that it was Joe Biden who didn't want to bring back the astronauts, and that the mission was not sanctioned for political reasons rather than scientific challenges. But now a Danish astronaut, Andreas Mogensen, has entered the battle. Now, Mogensen has called out Musk on social media platform X and called Musk a liar. But the criticism has sparked an online war. Musk was swift to respond and called Mogensen an idiot. Musk then added that his company, SpaceX, told the Biden administration that they could bring back the astronauts, but the offer was refused. However, Musk did not elaborate on the offer. The Danish astronaut again shot back at Musk. Mogensen challenged Musk to bring the astronauts soon, since Biden was not the president anymore. Mogensen then added that nothing was stopping Musk from sending a spacecraft to bring back the astronauts. Now, both Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore have been stuck in space for over 9 months, which was supposed to be an 8-day mission. And the two American astronauts are reporting severe health issues. In a recent video, Sunita Williams said that she was experiencing muscle loss and was unable to even lift a pen properly. The astronauts have reported a loss in bone density, unexpected face swellings, irregular heart activity, and a difficulty in balancing themselves. However, some of the NASA officials say that Williams and Wilmore are contributing significantly to research on the impact of long-term exposure of space travel on the human body.
Well, really seem to think that Butch and Sonny are up there stranded and waiting to get rescued. That could not be further from the truth. Butch and Sonny are contributing to NASA's mission of exploration. They're changing the world, our understanding of the world for the better. They are laying the groundwork that we're going to need as in long-duration exposure to space to put those eventual footprints on Mars. And that's what we all dream about being part of. And it's a long mission. That will be a 2 to 3 year mission, okay? And much more dangerous, going that far away.
Now, this is not the first time that Elon Musk used the stranded astronauts to make a political statement. Just about a week after Trump was inaugurated on the 20th of January, Musk posted on X that Trump personally requested him to bring back Williams and Wilmore. Now, SpaceX has been chosen to send its Crew 10 Dragon spacecraft to bring back the stranded astronauts. The mission has been postponed from February to March. And it remains to be seen whether Musk will be able to deliver on his word and bring back Williams and Wilmore. Birkenstock, the iconic German footwear brand, has been synonymous with comfort for centuries. Once dismissed as orthopedic essentials for the practically minded, these sandals have undergone a remarkable transformation. They have evolved into a global fashion statement. From European sidewalks to celebrity wardrobes, Birkenstocks have stomped their way into the mainstream. But can it ever be considered art? Now, the German legal system has delivered a rather unceremonial verdict. Germany's Federal Court of Justice has ruled that while Birkenstocks may be everywhere, they don't qualify as applied art under copyright law. This decision comes after the shoemaker took legal action against 3 competitors. They are 2 German retailers, namely Chibo, Shoe.com, and the Danish brand Bestseller. Birkenstock accuses these brands of selling look-alike sandals. Birkenstock's tradition of shoemaking goes back reportedly to 1774. They argued that its signature design of wide straps, big buckles, and all was a creative masterpiece which was worthy of the same protection as a Le Corbusier chair or a Porsche 356, or lighting design by the Bauhaus art movement. Now, the company requested an injunction to stop the 3 companies from making copycat sandals. Birkenstock also wanted the companies to recall their existing products and destroy those which are already on the shelves. The case wound its way through the legal system. A regional court in Clon initially sided with Birkenstock. The court deemed its design a work of applied art. However, the higher regional court of Clon overturned that ruling. It argued that there was no significant artistic achievement in the brand's utilitarian aesthetic. When the case reached Germany's highest civil court, the Federal Court of Justice, it delivered the final blow. The design of Birkenstock sandals is dictated by functionality and not artistic expression. According to the ruling, a product cannot be copyrighted if its design is primarily determined by technical requirements or practical constraints. Now, the other question that comes to mind is why Birkenstock wanted artistic protection. According to the laws followed in Germany, the works of art get longer-lasting intellectual property protection, while this is comparatively lower than the consumer products. Now, the court's decision places Birkenstocks firmly in the realm of well-crafted consumer goods, rather than museum-worthy masterpieces. While this may be a legal setback for the brand, it does little to diminish its cultural cachet. Over the years, Birkenstocks have been spotted everywhere. From Katy Perry to Britney Spears, everyone loves a pair. The footwear even played a pivotal role in 2023's Greta Gerwig directorial Barbie. The film's lead character, Margot Robbie, in a scene, swaps her stilettos for a pair of pink Birks in a moment of liberated comfort. So while the courts may not see Birkenstock as art, the fashion world and loyal customers beg to differ. One thing is clear, Birkenstocks are not going anywhere. And let's be honest, in the grand debate of art versus comfort, most of us would pick happy feet over museum walls any day. And that's all we have on the show for today. We will see you again at the same time on Monday. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to First Post.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m.